All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's lovely to see you all. Hope you had a great weekend. And let's begin by going straight into the superpower state. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. So by repeating your word or phrase, or using your anchor, or by focusing in on everything you love about your subject. Very good. And start to feel your heart opening, that expansion feeling in your chest. And allow that light or energy to shine out from you. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Very good job. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill yourself as a child, any age. Imagine that little you being filled with that light, that energy, that love. And love that little you just for existing, no matter what. Good job. And allow that light or energy to overflow from that little you and fill your whole childhood, shining that light into any darkness, filling everyone, everything, every event, every circumstance, every experience, and feeling your power as you do that. And now allow that light or energy to overflow from you and fill everyone who's on the call today. All those who are on camera, all those who are off camera today, love each one just for existing. Very good job. All right, you can open your eyes if you have them closed, and let's check in with each person, find out how you're all doing. So first up on my screen is Sue. Hi, Sue. How are you today?
Hi, I'm fine.
Good.
A little bit out of it in a way. I've been doing quite a lot of, well, when I say I've been trying to do a lot of work on myself because of what I was talking about the other day about my letting go of my children. But it's more my one son, the one that's in Spain. And we had a fallout a few years ago, and several times I've worked on it, and sort of like tried to come up with something, but it never sticks. And he's not in contact anymore, seems. Not much. And it's we used to be very close.
Okay. All right. So let's look at this. So what's the worst thing about it? What does it mean to you that he's not in contact anymore?
It's the same thing. It's just rejection.
Yes.
It's like ultimate, like we used to be very, very close.
Okay. All right. Very good. So I want you to notice the feeling of rejection, the fact that he's not in contact and it feels like rejection, and leave the meaning to it and focus in on the physical sensations of it. So where in your body do you feel it, and what does it feel like? What's the type of sensation?
Oh, I don't really know. That's what I've been trying to do, and I've been trying to just let it be. And last night when I was doing it and I was trying to let it be, it just became overwhelming. But I dare say that that's because of the meaning that's automatically attached to it.
Yes. And so thank you for this, Sue, because this is something I want to clarify for everyone as well regarding the allowing exercise. The way the allowing exercise works is it's very important when you're doing the allowing, we're allowing the physical sensations without the meaning. So it doesn't mean we're allowing the bad stuff. It doesn't mean we're allowing the thoughts or allowing the, the situation or anything like that. That's definitely not what we're doing. We're boiling it down to the physical sensation. And so as you focus in, so that's why it's important first to home in on the physical sensation. It's like a tension in my chest, or it's a pressure in my throat, or it's, it feels jittery, whatever that is, the physical sensation. And each time the meaning comes up, the thoughts come, like, because then it can, can lead to, well, he doesn't want to speak to me, and why, and previous experiences, and every time that happens, bring it back to the physical sensation. So you don't need to resist it. You need to just go, okay, I'll come back to that. I'll come back to the meaning. Right now, we're just going to focus on the physical sensation. And so let me first of all say, Sue, that I know this feeling well. Okay, so I've had the same experience. So I know how hard it can be. But I also know, because of that, I also know that it's possible to get through it and to change it. So what we're aiming for, the end result we're aiming for, is that you're able to think of your son and send love to him and imagine him being filled with that light, that energy, that love, exactly as he is, whether he never contacts you again or not.
Yeah.
Whether he contacts you again or not, right? So that's what you're aiming for. You're going to love him exactly as he is, no matter what he's doing or what's going on. So of course, the original reference is in your childhood, but we want to start with allowing, if possible. So that feeling.
What I was going to say just now, when you were talking about that allowing and not allowing the emotions or the thoughts to be there. Now, what if the emotion is so strong that it almost overrides the physical sensation? Because I don't quite know how to say it. Like, without, if I'm just doing stuff during the day and I'm not thinking about it, then I'm fine.
Yes.
But the moment I think about it, then my heart goes.
Perfect. Now so thank you so much for this, because it really helps to clarify it for others as well. So you're going about your day, and then when you think about it, your heart rate, what happens to your heart? What's physically happening?
I just get this kind of feeling.
Good. So that's the bit that you want to home in on and allow. So your heart goes like that. Now allow your heart to do that without any meaning, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything, because what happens is
it's so hard to just to separate the two.
Yes, it can be to start with, but it's possible, because here's the thing: the emotions in general are always physical sensations.
Yeah.
Always, because they're caused by chemicals inside the body, and the chemicals are creating effects, physiological effects inside the body. So whether they increase your heart rate, or they, lower your blood pressure, whatever they're doing, it's all physical. So, but then it's so tightly connected that as we feel the physical sensation, the conscious mind immediately gives reasons and starts assigning reasons and meanings to it, and finding more and more evidence to support whatever these sensations are, whatever meaning has been given. So pulling back a little bit in the observation of this, already starts to help. So you want to, in other words, we don't want to buy into the reasons, because the reason for your heart doing that is not about your son. It's not about your son. And whatever you're thinking about your son not contacting you is not real. It's not true. Whatever meaning you're giving is coming from your childhood. It has nothing to do with now. So let me help you. Let's help to untangle this a little bit then before we do the allowing exercise. Tell me what you think the reason is that your son is not contacting you.
Wow, that's lots.
Main reason, do you think, or what's the worst reason?
Well, I think the main reason is he and his girlfriend have got health problems, and they've got emotional problems, and they were seeing a woman locally who did all sorts of different kinds of techniques and did some going back in childhood stuff, and she told him that all his issues today are because of my side of the family. Goes back generations in my side of the family. And I don't know what her thing is, but she told, that woman told my son's girlfriend that she was sexually abused when she was young, and she believes that.
Okay.
She can't remember, because she spoke to me about it. She can't remember it, but she thinks that it must have happened, and it absolutely does her head in.
Okay. And so what's wrong with that for you, from your point of view?
Because it's almost like they've come together and they console each other in their bad parenting, they're bad parents. That, like they've got all these problems because of their bad parents or their bad lineage or whatever. And it's just so silly.
Okay, so let's look at that, because this is very powerful, and this is going to apply to so many people, not just parents, but in general. So when someone, so let's say this is the case. Let's say they both think that you were a bad parent. Is that the issue here?
Well, she wishes that I was her parent.
Okay.
But then they've also, he's told me often that she doesn't really, she loves her parents, but she doesn't like them. I don't know how, but that's sort of like the feeling. And when her mother speaks to me, she said, oh yeah, she always just says, yes, Dan, yes, Daddy. And then she says, if I don't do that, then I just get my head bitten off.
So why is this a problem for you?
Because it influences the way that I see it. It helps support my son in his belief that his problems are from his parents and mainly from me. And
what's wrong with that?
Well, cast me out. I'm the problem, so I don't want to have anything to do with you, kind of feeling. I don't know if that is the case, but
right. That's where we want to get to. You don't know.
I don't. I'm just presuming.
Worried about, right? And this is such a great example, because the truth is that the reason he may not be contacting you may have nothing to do with his childhood, may have nothing to do with you even. It may be that he doesn't have good news to tell you, so he doesn't want to, maybe he's feeling bad, maybe he's feeling guilty about it. We don't know. So the brilliant thing is that you may be completely wrong about that. He may not have any issues with you at all. We don't know. But what we do is that you get to, whatever his reasons are, you get to decide how you experience it.
Yes, I know. And that's what I've been working on, is because when I think of him, I cannot think of him with a clean slate because of that fallout that we had. And then he went overseas, and then he came back. They both came back. And then suddenly they were going to go overseas again. And she went over, but they were both living here. And when they were living here, it was like he barely tolerated me. And they were in my space.
Mm-hmm.
But if I walked into the lounge and they were talking, I just got the look.
Okay.
And I had to go and be somewhere else in my own frickin' home.
Right. And there again, so there's the meaning, giving them meaning again. Okay, so this is brilliant, Sue. This is really brilliant because it's a fantastic opportunity for us to really home in on the power of the superpower. So this is where the superpower really empowers. And the reason is, if you focus, forget him for the moment. So just bookmark the two of them for the moment. We'll come back to them.
Okay.
And let's bring, because we can't make them do anything, we can't change them. What we can change is ourselves. So what you want to do is say, so you're not pushing it away. You're not going to leave it as it is. You're going to come back to it, but just bookmark it for the moment. Come to yourself and completely, what you want to aim at is that you are living in that state of the superpower. You love you. You have everything you need inside you, which is the truth. We have everything inside us that we need to feel good, because it's just chemicals. You have all the feel-good chemical options. I mean, all the potential for creating feel-good chemicals inside you. No one else and nothing else can create that inside you. Only your own brain can do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So whether that happens on automatic or whether you deliberately do it, that's where we have the choice. So if what we're aiming for is for you to feel good enough about you that it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing, whether they're contacting you, whether they leave the room and you walk in. And here's the exciting, brilliant thing about this. They're sitting in the living room. You are already in that empowered state. You are full of unconditional love for yourself, and it's overflowing to everything and everyone around you, no matter what they do. You walk into the room, they leave, they walk out, whatever they do, they say something. It means nothing to you because you're already in that empowered state. You know that whatever they're saying and doing is about their stuff. Bless their hearts, but it's about their stuff and it's nothing to do with you. So you're able to hold that state of loving them unconditionally, no matter what they do. And what will happen then is you will start to see changes, because they will not react the same to you because you're not the same. But if you continue playing that dance, if you continue doing that dance, playing that game, where you're feeling hurt, they do something, you feel rejected, they do something, you feel, it's my house and I have to go somewhere else on my own. When you're still playing when you're still doing that same dance together, then everybody's still doing their steps. If you,
he's not here at the moment. He's in Portugal.
Right.
I mean, they were in Spain, but now he's gone to Portugal. So is that something that I have to change?
No, so the first thing you need to change, the first thing you need to do is acknowledge and understand that this is all about your own chemicals. Whether he's in Portugal or leaving the lounge doesn't matter.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
None of that matters. It's all about your own chemicals. So whenever your mind wanders to, he hasn't contacted me, why they're in the childhood and they're blaming me and the parents and whatever, all of those details. Every time you go to the details, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether the weed has 3 leaves or how many branches it's got to come out by the root, and flowers need to be planted. So you come back to where am I putting my focus in this moment? And it's brilliant because you can see immediate feedback. As you focus on the stuff that they're doing and what it means to you, you can feel the stress chemicals. When you take your focus off that and you focus on your favorite color, beauty, wonderful, love, your kitty, whatever, you can feel the change in those chemicals. So that means you are completely in control, and that's brilliant, right? So so you want to focus on that first. Then, of course, childhood. So where in your childhood did you feel that rejection? Because it's not to do with them. It's nothing to do with them. So it may not be rejection. It may be the fact that you're being blamed, or it may be that a fear of losing them. So then where did you feel that fear of loss? So whatever that is, it's in your childhood.
Okay, that's something. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any kind of recollection of anything, when you said losing them. and the
Yes.
sense of loss. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I'll have to
So
work
check
on that.
childhood. Where did you feel you lost something in your childhood? And it could be anything. It could be anything from the death of someone or a pet, to the loss of a toy, to the loss of an opportunity, to the loss of a friendship. I wasn't able to do something. I mean, there's a lot of options. So just come to that fear of loss, and then where in my childhood did I feel this same feeling? And it may be a different topic.
Okay.
And then change it, of course, to the opposite, positive and empowering.
Yeah.
And if you can't find anything, that's also okay. Create new memories of feeling included, of lots of friends, lots of acknowledgement. Your parents' faces light up every time you walk into the room. Create new memories to support that feeling now that you are loved, you are appreciated, you are respected, you are safe.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
Yeah, no, that sounds good. And like I think I needed to hear that, and I need to sort of like, I don't know, it's like I need to take a deep breath and sort of like have an intention, a really strong intention to let go.
Yeah.
Because since I've been working on it, I've been finding it quite hard to get into that superpower state, and I've been finding it also when and then I thought, like, okay, some things, it's got to be from my childhood. And so I just sat down and I just thought, okay, my childhood, what do I see? And I just saw this little diminished person. So it's gone back to that again. And that's just because I think that I'm just feeling like energetically and whatever way completely so deep in the hurt.
Yes. And so this is
the meaning that I'm giving it to all of this.
Right. Exactly.
It's like it's taken everything away. It sort of has clouded the whole space. It's clouded.
And so let me ask you this: when you saw where in my child, what's there in my childhood, and you saw that little diminished person, what did you do then?
I couldn't actually conjure up any kinds of feelings of love or anything like that. I tried to do that, but it was so hard. So what I did was I actually just tapped. Okay. I just tapped and I tapped and I tapped, and then it sort of like it became nothingness. And so I thought, okay, well, that's better than nothing. I mean, then like this. Well, it wasn't, when I say diminished, because I suppose that was just sort of rounds up the whole sort of like the kind of picture that I saw, because it was just small, defeated, timid. Timid is the word that I wrote down.
What did you feel about that part of you when you saw that?
It's like, oh no, when is this going to change? Like when is the change going to stick? Because it depends what kind of a mood I'm in, like how grand my childhood was or how bad it was. Okay. And it wasn't bad.
Well,
I know it
doesn't need to be bad. It doesn't need to be bad. Remember, the subconscious will give meanings to things.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be bad to the conscious mind. It's just about it. This happened, it means this, and that means you need to keep doing this. So let me ask you this very importantly. So if one of your children, when they were children, was like that, in that state, that diminished state or whatever that was, how would you have responded or reacted to them?
Oh my word, I would have done everything that I could to empower them and to make them, try and make them see how amazing they were. I mean, that's what I always used to do.
Spot on. So now, whenever you get to that point where you see yourself as a child in any state, remind yourself, what would I do if this was one of my children? And then do that.
Yeah, and if they were really hurt and feeling completely defeated, I mean, I would just hold them.
And that's
exactly what you need to do.
And that's the power of the allowing technique. You're just allowing that feeling to be there in the moment, that diminished state, starting with that first, because that wanting that initial rejection of that, it's like that, oh no, here's that feeling again. you're not pushing away anybody but yourself. So just allowing that feeling to be there and starting in that point first, which is completely counterintuitive to what most of us are wanting to do.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's great. Does that make sense, Sue?
You really had something to say. He just couldn't. He was like, oh, I've got to say it.
Well, and it's true. Steve is the expert on the allowing technique. So, you know, if there's anything that needs clarifying on the allowing technique, he's the one to do it. So, Sue, does that help? Does that make sense moving forward?
Yeah, I'll have to listen to it again. Tomorrow morning when I wake up, I will tune in to YouTube and re-listen. And in the meantime, I will keep on trying to beef up my superpower state again, because that also seems to sort of like, it's the only way I could get myself last night to feel it was the kitty was on the bed, was to actually put my hand out there and touch her.
There you go. And that's okay.
I couldn't create it in my mind.
Good. If that's what it takes, that's great.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Yes.
Good job, Sue. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
All right. And Swasti, good morning or good afternoon, your afternoon, our morning. How are you today?
Oh, yeah, it's afternoon. Hello. I'm okay. So I did the exam.
Yes.
And then I actually got the results straight after.
Okay.
Which was shocking. So a couple of things went wrong. So I actually got like below the score from last time, which is not that great, but there are still 2 universities that I can apply to. Okay. But then I just needed to like sort out the other 2. But I just felt really, so during the exam I was pretty calm.
Good.
And the questions were actually easier than last time. And I felt like, because I don't know if this is blaming on the wrong things, but I felt like I was too calm, so I wasn't stressed enough to get faster. And also there was a lot of like technical difficulties that happened. So like every 5 minutes the people there were constantly like invading the whole computer, and they were like, the whole like chat box came up, and this happened literally every, like, so one section is 13 minutes and they did this 3 times. Oh god. So they were like, I can't see your face, because I was writing on the whiteboard, like doing quick working out, and I can't see your face, please can you show me like what you're doing? So okay, this is what I'm doing. And they were like, show me your desk. So I showed the desk. So they wasted a lot of time in that way, and I said like like, you're wasting my time basically. I just felt really, really frustrated, because I could have done so much better, like if they hadn't done that. So.
Okay. All right. And clearly there's a lot of emotion there now. So, because it's not fair. So, okay, there we go. So these are the people who are running the exam, and they were wanting to make sure you're not cheating, basically. Is that what the motivation there was? Okay. All right. So now let's break this down to that feeling, whatever that feeling is you're feeling right now. Where in your body are you feeling it? Let's bring it down to the physical sensation. Okay, so we can take the meaning out of it for now. No judgment, no meaning. So what's the physical sensation that's going on there right now, sweetheart?
I just feel like it's just everywhere.
Okay. All right. And so what's the picture on your t-shirt right now?
I don't know, I think it's like pandas, 2 pandas.
2 pandas. Oh, lovely. And where did you get the t-shirt?
I don't know, probably like Gap or something.
Okay, very good. All right. I like pandas. Okay, they're black and white like penguins. Maybe there's a black and white thing going on. Okay, so Swasti, let's have a look at that feeling wherever that is in your body. In fact, before we do that, let me just ask you, so you say there's 2 universities you can apply to, is that right? And which ones are those?
So one is Cardiff and one is Queen's University Belfast, like for sure. that I'm kind of sure about, like the other ones, because my score is going to fall in the bottom 20%, and that's not like what you want. I'm not sure about the other ones.
Okay, so Cardiff is quite close to where I was living. I used to live in Gloucester. I've been to Cardiff many times. Okay, so what does this mean to you? What's the main meaning out of all of this? So you were distracted by, they kept interrupting you. And so now you've got your score is in the bottom 20%. And what does that mean? What does it mean, in other words, about you or about your situation?
Well, I mean, well, I wanted to do better so that I could apply to, like, better as in, even if I just got average again, it would have been fine. Like, I would have, so many doors just got closed in these 2 hours, and I just feel like that's not fair, like, considering everything, like 7 years that I've pretty much worked for.
Okay, so let's boil this down, because it's not about the thing, it's about the meaning that we're giving to it, right? Because if you had very close friends in Cardiff and you were desperate to go to Cardiff specifically, would this still mean the same thing? So is being in the bottom 20% meaning anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would still mean something.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go to Cardiff, about what it means. And so let's have a look at that. Now, so you're in the bottom 20% or you're in the top 20%. What difference does it make? Okay, so let's look at so you're going to, let's say you go to Cardiff or you go to Belfast. What's wrong with that?
No, like, I'm glad that I've got something to choose from.
Good.
But these are the only two which are 100% like I can get an interview from. Like the other ones, because I have 4 choices, I don't know what other 2 I'm going to do. Even if I can do anything and I'll get rejected because I don't have the scores.
Okay, but these 2 you could go to.
Yeah.
And what's wrong with these 2?
There's nothing wrong with them.
Okay, good. So it's not that you hate Cardiff or Belfast.
No, I don't have any emotional attachments to it.
Great. Okay, so that's good. So there's no reason to worry about the final results. So now let's look at the meaning. So what's the worst thing about being in the bottom 20% if it means you can still go to a university that you don't have any negative emotions about? What's the worst thing about this?
Well, my score went down when I thought I was being more efficient, and then everything externally just crashes down on me.
And what do you mean by that? Everything externally just crashes down on you?
So just last night, I did you're supposed to do a system check for your computer, and this computer that I'm on doesn't comply with the regulations, so I had to change. So I had to get a different computer, and that might be part of the reason why things went wrong, because the camera's on the wrong side. Like the camera's at the bottom, whereas this camera's on the top. Right. So I guess I wasn't used to that. Like this computer was working 6 weeks ago with that system check, and then suddenly yesterday it doesn't work.
Right.
And I just felt so held back.
Good. Okay. So these things, these technical things, and the fact that they kept interrupting you, those are all things beyond your control, right? You couldn't have prepared for it, and it wasn't your fault, right? Okay. So these are 2 different perspectives to have. Number one, you could have the perspective of, well, yeah, so, if those things hadn't happened, I would have got a higher score, because these are the technical issues. And of course, them interrupting me all the time, of course, I would have got a higher score. So that's why I didn't get a high score. Or where it seems that you're going, where you're giving the fact that you didn't get a high score more meaning. So what does it mean to you that you didn't get a higher score?
Well, I feel like we should never be going downwards. It should always be improving in some way.
And how do you know that? And who's deciding that for you?
Probably my parents.
So what did they say? How did they react to your
Well, there was
score?
no sense of comfort. It was just like, you're just blaming things that you couldn't control. So they said it's an excuse. You always find an excuse for something.
That's where it's coming from. So, okay. So because the fact is, the actual fact is, you did have the technical issues and you did have the interruptions, right? Those are the facts. And the fact is that you still get to go to a university that you don't object to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the bottom. That's very important to have those. Now we look at the meaning, because what we want to get to is where your parents are saying whatever they're saying and you know the truth. You're just going, yeah, well, that's just the way it is, right? So, and you feel confident inside yourself, because the truth is the score you got doesn't mean anything other than possibly you are meant to be at Cardiff or Belfast, that there is some route that way that you wouldn't have had if you go any other way. So this may have been just the way that you get to where you want to be. We don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the more you wrestle with it or object to it or fight it, the more things are being, the more difficult it is, the longer it takes to get something done. So if you are able to, and we will look at changing the references and the allowing, but what we're aiming for is for you to go, right, so what's next? I'm going to Cardiff or Belfast. Do I have a preference? Am I going to apply for both? Whatever that situation is, and looking forward, knowing, and looking forward to whatever that's going to create, because you can't create anything bad for yourself unless, of course, you're wrestling with the things. All right. So let's look at the feeling that's there of, so your parents say you're just making excuses. So what else did they say? What was their response?
Well, to be honest, they didn't say much. Like straight after, my dad had a meeting, my mum wasn't at home. And then when my mum came and then my dad came to talk, and then he just said, you're making excuses, and then it's kind of like the silent treatment, and then everybody just goes and does their own thing.
Right. Okay. And what would you have preferred if you could change how they responded?
Well, if I'd said, like, when I said to them, I can still apply to Cardiff and University of Belfast, I would have expected, like, oh, that's good. Like, those are good universities, because I know that good universities, but like, I didn't get any sort of acknowledgement.
Right. Now, so the first thing to realize is that however they're reacting, the silent treatment, whatever they said, the fact that they didn't say those are great universities, that's wonderful that you can still do it. That's the truth and how they would normally, we would expect them to react. But the way that they did react has nothing to do with you or your score or the universities. It's to do with their own programs and to do with whatever fears they have, whatever programs they have, judging themselves, because it's very likely that what's going on in the background for them is, what should we have done more? We should have done more. Why didn't I? They're probably, the way they've been raised, they're blaming themselves. And then they're projecting it because it's easier, or it's less painful to blame someone else than to think it's someone else's fault. So let's go back to what does this bring up for you? Let's do the allowing first. So that feeling of however they reacted, whatever it means inside you, whatever you're feeling there, are you able to just allow the feeling, the sensations? Because it's okay to be feeling this. It's okay to be feeling the disappointment or the rejection or whatever's there. It's okay to feel it right now. You don't have to make it stop. Can you do that?
And a reminder that it's okay to start with the not allowing, that I really don't want to allow these feelings. So whatever, even if the starting point is, I don't want to allow these feelings right now, be with that first.
Mm-hmm. Are you able to do that, Swasti?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So just allow it, allow the feelings, notice the sensations, the physical sensations, wherever you feel it, and notice the type of feeling it is, and then allow it to be there. Can you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Good. And what happens as you do that? Does it get worse? Does it stay the same? Does it get less?
Yeah, it's less intense.
Good. Very good. So continue to allow it, because the truth is you're all right. The truth is you still get to go to university, and you're going to have the most amazing time, whichever university you go to. It's going to be fun. You're going to have a sense of achievement. You're going to be productive, and you're going to have the best time you can have, regardless of what university you end up at, because you take your experiences with you. Even if you didn't go to university, you'd still have a good time if you allowed yourself to do it, to have that. Okay. So because we become attached to things because we think that's the only way to get what we want, or the only way to survive, or the only way to impress so-and-so. So number one, recognizing that your parents are dealing with whatever's inside them has nothing to do with you or your results. Okay. And then number two, allowing this feeling. You're okay, you're safe. We all love you very much. We're all very, very proud of you. All right. So just allowing that feeling, whatever it is. Okay. How does that feel now?
Yeah, that feels better.
Good job, sweetheart. Very, very good. And now let's go to anything come up from your childhood that feels similar to this.
It's like a constant battling. Yeah, nothing ever feels enough. Like you can get everything right, but there'll always be one wrong thing, which seems like it will mess up like everything.
That's it. Very good. Okay. And so that's why it feels so strong, because it's survival. So what we do is we're constantly striving to please whoever's supposed to be taking care of us and keeping us alive. And that's a survival mechanism. And so that's why it feels so intense, and why it's difficult to overcome it. But recognizing that in the first place can help. So recognizing that you are trying to please your parents, you're trying to make them okay so that you can survive. All right, that's what's going on behind the scenes. Now, the problem is we can't make them anything. We can't make anyone else anything. So you could have got like the top score, and you still wouldn't change them. They may have reacted differently in the moment, but it's never going to change that ongoing striving, because then, like you say, there would be something else, because that's their program. Because their programs are, however it plays out in them, they feel unsafe, and they're constantly looking outside themselves to feel safe, which is a natural human instinct. And so whether it's how you're doing, or how your brother or sister are doing, or how somebody else is doing, or what's happening over there, that's the normal human thing of looking outside myself because I don't feel safe. So if you'd got the highest score, they would find something else to feel like that about, because that's just the program.
Okay. I don't think about that. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Good job. Good job. So now we take them out of the equation. They're doing whatever they're doing. Bless their hearts. We love them, and they do their thing, right? We don't need to change them. They're just doing what they do. And so we don't need to change them. We don't need to make them feel better. And they're going to do whatever they do according to their programs, regardless of what you do, what we do. Okay? So take them out of the program, let them be, out of the picture, let them sit there and do their thing. And then, so now you want to focus on you. And so let's say your parents didn't mind what scores you got. They just loved you anyway, and they were just excited. Nobody's ever been to university. And so whether you go or not doesn't matter to them. How would you feel right now about your school?
Yeah, that would feel good. Just striving for a medical career is a big thing then, but not when your parent been to Cambridge, like came from like a tiny village in India and then just suddenly like ends up at Cambridge. Like, that doesn't feel good then afterwards.
Yes, exactly. So we take them out of the program, out of the picture, sorry, and now you focus on what would be fun for you. Like, so let's say you're at university, any university, right? What are you looking forward to most about just being in that surrounding, in that arena?
I don't know, just interaction with like different people, especially as these are in Northern Ireland and Wales. Like I've never lived there. I've been there, but not like lived there.
Fantastic. And so those connections with those other people, that's not going to matter what score you got, right? Nobody's even going to know what score you got.
No.
Right. And so what you want to focus on, you want to keep your focus on that feeling of connection, whatever you're looking forward to most, learning about things, learning about people, connecting with new people, getting, learning insights into other cultures, into other, pieces of knowledge, areas of knowledge, whatever it is, that feeling of being in that environment. Mm-hmm. Does that feel exciting to you?
Yeah, that feels really good.
I'm excited. I want to go now. Can I come with you? Because I can imagine that's going to feel amazing. Mm. And obviously you'll live there, right? You've got to go into residence because it's too far to commute. Mm-hmm. So how exciting will that be?
Yeah, to be honest, we just went for a field trip to Wales last year, just for a week. But I really like the community kind of vibe.
Wales is amazing. Mm-hmm. Wales, the people are fantastic. They're really friendly. They've got a fabulous accent, their accents in general. I used to do a lot of singing gigs in Wales. And I think you'll have the time of your life. Whether it's Wales or Belfast, I think you'll have the time of your life.
Thank you. I'm going to clear the interview though first as well. This is just getting to the interview, yeah.
Yes, and that's okay. So keep redirecting and, do the allowing. So when you think about the interview, what happens? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
I mean, that's like, even though I think that I'll get the interview, there's still some element of uncertainty, but I don't know, I just never feel 100% secure about everything. That makes me insecure.
Yes, and the reason for that is the insecurity. You don't feel secure with your parents.
Okay.
That dates back to when they left you.
Okay.
Okay, so the answer here then is you can do the allowing with the insecurity, but then also whenever you feel that insecurity about the interviews and whatever else, redirect your subconscious to play the new childhood memory of your parents hugging you when you were little.
Okay.
Okay, so have a memory there where you are being hugged by both your parents, and they are reassuring you and telling you they love you, and they'll always love you no matter what, and keep redirecting that. Okay, and you can add in the background, you can write this down, or you can have it, post it somewhere or whatever, or just keep reminding yourself, as long as you are in the state of love, so you're loving yourself, and you're not judging or criticizing yourself, you cannot create anything bad. It has to turn out to be either nothing to worry about or fantastic, the best thing that could have happened. And I suspect that, whichever route you end up going, down the line, you're going to go, oh, I'm so glad this happened. I'm so glad that I ended up here. Because if those results had been different, I would have gone in a different direction.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. That's actually so true. Yeah, like I applied to Leicester last time. Mm-hmm. Like this 100% secure type one. Yeah. And I got rejected from that, but then I didn't really like the place, to be honest. I just applied.
There you go. So you want to be making these decisions out of excitement and because it's wonderful. rather than this is the best, the only way, or this is what other people expect from me, right?
Okay.
So you want to, because this is your life and your experience, and you get to decide what feels the best for you.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
How does that feel now?
Yeah, it feels exciting actually.
Good. That's exactly what we want. And as long as you remain focused on the excitement, the details don't matter. Whatever happens will happen. But as long as you keep your focus on the end destination, which is the excitement and the good feeling, then wherever you end up and however, whatever route you take to get there, you will get there. Right? But if you're worried or you're thinking, oh, I should be over there, and then that's, of course, where you're going to end up. More worry and more, more of that. So you want to keep your focus on what you want to end up feeling. And the more you feel it now, the more everything else around you will get in alignment, even if it doesn't look like it just yet.
Okay.
All right. Now, when's the interview? Do you know yet or not yet?
No, this is so basically I haven't applied, but according to the criteria, like I hit every checkbox that they have.
Okay.
So, and I get like full academic marks because of my grades.
Yes.
So there's really not anything that can let me down, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm thinking the interviews, but they'll come in, I think November time.
Okay, so you got some time.
Yeah.
You got some time before the interview. So now your task now is to feel as good as possible and change any childhood memories and create brand new from scratch memories of your parents being as supportive and encouraging as possible.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
And we've got time to help you through this now then. Right? So keep doing that, and when you come back tomorrow, and each day you come back, update us, let us know how you're doing, and we will make sure that by November, by the time you go to those interviews, or by the time the interview time comes, you're feeling great. Because whether you get so let's say you do the interview and you don't get in, that's also okay. Because as long as you're keeping your focus on how it feels, the end result feels, whatever happens, you will end up feeling that. And coming back to where I kept thinking I need to be in Hollywood. That's where I'd be happy. I want to be an actress. I want to, I was an actress. I want to be, in movies. I want to live in LA and be in movies. And that's all I want to do. And that's the happiest I could ever be. That's what I believed. And then, I auditioned for Game of Thrones. I was sent to audition for a recurring role in Game of Thrones in London. And that was like, oh my God, can you imagine if I got cast in Game of Thrones? That's it, I'm made. Right?
Yeah.
And so I went and auditioned and I didn't get it. But luckily by then I'd already been changing childhood memories, and I knew I had this certainty that whatever ends up happening, I will feel like I love my life. And right now it feels like that I need to be in Hollywood for that. But I love my life no matter what, right? And now I am so grateful, because if I had got that role, my life would have gone in a very different direction, and I would not, number one, and most importantly, I would not have met Steve. Steve and I wouldn't be together. And so I would be in who knows what kind of relationship, right? And I am happier now than I could ever be in show business. So that's why when things look like that's the route that's going to make me happy, or that's where I will be happiest, and it doesn't happen, as long as you're keeping your focus on the feeling of the end result, whatever happens, and it may be something you can't even see from where you are right now. It may have nothing to do with university at all. We don't know. But you'll know that you'll create it as long as you're keeping that feeling of excitement, happiness, love, that, and creating that same thing in your childhood. so that they match?
Actually, because I feel better now.
Good.
I realized that. Sorry. So I did better in the English section that I was worried about.
Okay.
So I feel a lot more confident in terms of English now. Because I feel like I'm incapable of English, but not. It actually went, yeah, the English one went well, but that was one of the only ones that went well.
Fantastic.
And then also like another one about medical ethics and stuff. I got the highest you could get, which is kind of rare, so that might help me at some point.
Good job, Swasti. Very, very good. And the rest doesn't mean anything other than, number one, you had challenges that were outside of your control to deal with. And number two, it's leading you where you want to be, even though you don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
That is.
Yeah.
But if you know, the fact that the ones you did do well on are ones that you didn't think you would do well on, that means something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I did work really hard for the English one because I knew that's what always lets me down, but then, yeah, the other ones didn't go so well.
But that's okay. So if they had all gone well, you would have ended up at a different university, right?
Yeah, I would be in King's College.
And maybe that's not where, that maybe where you would have ended up, King's College or wherever it is, maybe that wouldn't have given you the result you're really looking for, which is the feeling of whatever that feeling is.
Okay.
So you can trust that as long as you're focused on the end feeling and you're creating that end feeling in your childhood so that they match, you can trust that whatever happens in between will get you to that end feeling, whatever that may be.
Yeah. Okay.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
Good job, sweetheart. And we are so proud of you, really. And we would be proud of you and love you whether you did it or not anyway. But as it happens, you've done incredibly well.
Thank you, and thank you for your email today. By the time I was in a great mood to reply, so I didn't reply.
That's all right. You're very welcome. We were thinking of you. All right. So good job. And thank you, Swasti, so much for sharing your journey here, because there will be so many others who will benefit from this.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
And I just want to follow up real quick with there are tons of comments in chat, but one from Ilya that I think is important to add here. Imagine, imagining that the same thing happened to your dad and he wanted to go to university, and see if you can imagine his parents hugging him, comforting him, and telling him that it doesn't matter what score he gets because he's always the top scorer as a person and he could never disappoint them. And then imagine your dad giving the same reaction as his parents gave him.
Yes, very good. That's an excellent suggestion. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ilya. And thank you, Steve, for reading that out, because I'm sure Swasti's seen it in the chat, but for those who are watching the recording, that's great. All right. So
we do have a couple of questions in the chat.
I haven't checked in with Lisa and Chris.
Yes. So we still have some things.
Lisa, how are you today?
Oh, good. You can go on and do everything. I can, because I know you're running that. It's so cool.
Okay, and Chris as well. You've got okay. So if you have any questions, of course, let us know. And so, Steve, questions from the chat. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah. So. Two questions. First one, a year ago, my oldest sister moved into an apartment building. I always do what I can to help her. When I go visit her, we have the same physical symptoms, but it's depressing to see how unmotivated she is to help herself. I love my sister. It's hard to watch her decline. I tried pre-paving, but I still leave feeling worse. What can I do to help her and help myself?
Okay. All right, thank you. And so the answer is, similar to what I was saying with Sue. Put your sister aside for a minute. So you're not gonna, you're gonna come back to her, but put her aside for a minute and focus on, of course, allowing those feelings inside yourself. So that feeling of not being able to help her, and it's depressing to see how unmotivated she is. Notice where in your body you feel those physical sensations, home in on them, and allow them. Allow those physical sensations without any meaning. So there's no meaning, there's no judgment. You don't need to make them stop. You don't need to make them change. Just allow it, and until that changes, or until you feel a shift. Now, also reminding yourself that each person has the right to create and attract whatever they're creating and attracting. That's their choice. So, you know, your sister may be unmotivated, she may not be happy, she may be dealing with whatever she's dealing with, but it is her prerogative to do that, even if she doesn't acknowledge that. So the way to, and I know this really well because I have people I really care about who, you know, don't use what would empower them. And I've learned to respect that. And when you think of it as respecting their choice, that helps a lot. So you cannot make them do anything, but you can share what you know. You can say, listen, there is this if you would like it, and then respect their right to choose. So then if they have it, they don't have it. You know, it's like, I know my mum used to get upset when we wouldn't put something warm on. Put something warm on. So if I'm cold, I'm cold. But she didn't want us to be cold. And, you know, I learned with my own son, if he's cold, he'll put something on. And if he's still cold and he doesn't put something on, then that's his business. He's choosing that. So each person is choosing. As long as you let them know there is this, and now say in your head, I'm respecting their choice. And that is the most empowering thing you can do for yourself and for them. So then you get yourself into that state of unconditional love for yourself, and then you imagine sending that light or energy, that love to that person exactly as they are, loving them, whether they're suffering or not, whether they're choosing to make a change or not. Just love them exactly as they are. And that's the best you can do for both of you. So I hope that helps. And of course, then check any childhood references for that same feeling of not being able to, you know, I can't save someone, I can't help, whatever that feeling is. Check your childhood, because there will be references for that feeling in there. So where in your childhood did you feel that sense of whatever that is? So the hopelessness, the depressing, to see how unmotivated, whatever that feeling is, can't help to help herself. Check your childhood, change it to the opposite, positive and empowering. So you can do a stepping stone where you are able to make them change. So like I did with my mother, I gave her the blue fluffy thing, that is, and wherever that represented, and she went, oh, that's exactly what I needed, and she was fine. So do that with a stepping stone. So however, give that little you the power to fix or change whoever it is in your childhood that needs help, that needs changing, that whatever that is, save them. Give that little you the power to save them in your memories, in those new memories. Practice it. And then, of course, the final memory, that's a stepping stone. Final memory, they didn't need saving. They were fine all along. So I hope that helps. And next question, if I am unsettled and not liking where I am, for example, I feel stuck in my circumstances, whether it's health or living space, I'm having a time allowing it, as I don't enjoy where I am and unsure of an inspired action of steps to take. How to enjoy where I am when I don't prefer it. There is an urgency feeling of wanting things to change. I'm unsure of what childhood memory to focus on. Is this still related to childhood and feeling like I wanted to leave and didn't feel at home where I was? I have a reference in making do with things no matter what. I feel stuck and then fear sets in. Thank you. Yes. Okay, good one. So thank you for sharing that. And two parts to this. So the first part is doing the allowing exercise with this. This should be this should help speed things up and make it more effective. So notice that feeling of being stuck, being where you don't prefer, you don't want to be there, and the urgency feeling, whatever's there, boil it down to the physical sensations of that. So take out the meaning, pin the thoughts for now, take out the meaning, and home in on however the physical sensation feels in your body. Isolate that. So if you need to put your hand on your leg to feel that sensation on your hand, sensation on your leg, and then do the same with the emotions, where you're not giving any meaning, you're just focusing on the physical sensations of those emotions. And allow those. Just imagine allowing. It's okay for this feeling to be here. I don't need to do anything. Don't need to do anything to change it. Not going to judge it. It's okay for it to be here. This feeling of whatever it is, it's okay to be here. You can do then the stepping back. What does it need? You can do that. And then once that's shifted, once you can feel that allowing, you're able to allow. And of course, if you can't allow it, or you don't want to allow it, allow that. Allow the can't allowing, or allow the don't want to allowing. And then, yes, absolutely, it's in your childhood. So, and the little bit that I know about your childhood, it makes perfect sense. So make sure that whatever's left there from those memories, you got the complete opposite, positive and empowering. Do whatever it takes to get to that. So allowing, due justice, generational childhood rewriting, whatever it takes to end up where you grew up in the most wonderful place. Your home is gorgeous. You've got everything you could possibly need. You are treated kindly, with compassion, with enthusiasm. You are safe. That's the biggest thing, that you are safe and you are protected, and life is fun and abundant. So whatever it takes to get to that and practice it. And then in the meantime, whenever you feel those feelings of, I need to make a change, I need to take some action because I don't want to be here, and there's that sense of urgency, stop, take a pause, and allow that feeling. So I feel this need to take action, this urgency. Where in my body do I feel it? Allow it to be there. It's okay to feel it without doing anything. It's okay to feel it. Just do that, and then practice those new childhood memories that you've created. So keep doing that, because the truth is, any action you take from now, even if you could think of something, any action you take from right now without doing all of that is going to keep producing the same results, because the program's still the same. So the action to take, and this is for everyone, when you feel like I need to do something, I need to take some action, the action to take is new childhood memories. That's the action to take. Creating new childhood memories, changing old childhood memories, practicing the new childhood memories. That's the action to take. And then, of course, in addition to that, unconditional love. Being in that superpower state, loving everything and everyone, starting with yourself always, and allowing that to shine out from you. So I hope that helps. Let me know if there's any questions or any clarification needed. I know we're short of time now, but hopefully you're very welcome. Good, I'm glad. Both of you, you're very welcome. All right, Steve, shall we do the targeting? So let's take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer, and go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. Start to feel your heart opening, your chest expanding, that light or energy shining out from you, and allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Very good. And allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Good job. And allow that light or energy to fill your subject. And then imagine your subject doesn't want to be with you, or doesn't have the qualities that you love and appreciate, and keep them filled with that light, that energy anyway. Good job. And now let's go to Lisa. Fill Lisa with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa, just for existing. Good job. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti, just for existing. Very good job. And now to Chris. Fill Chris with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris, just for existing. Very good. And now to Sue. Fill Sue with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips, love Sue, just for existing. Very good. And now to Carrie. Fill Carrie with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips, love Carrie, just for existing. Very good. And now to Amy. Fill Amy with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips, love Amy, just for existing. Very good job. And now to everyone who's off camera today and all those watching the recording. Fill each one with the same light, this energy. From the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips, love each one just for existing, no matter what. Very, very good. And now to yourself later today, whatever you'll be doing, whatever you'll be experiencing, whatever's going to be happening later today, love that version of you just for existing. Imagine that version of you filled with this light, this energy. Shine this light into any darkness, loving everything anyway. And surge. Very good. And surge again. Good job. Very good. You can open your eyes if you haven't closed. All right, everyone. Thank you all to those who have contributed today and shared their experiences. And you're very, very welcome, Swasti. And Lots of love to all of you, and we will see you back here same time, same place tomorrow. And look after yourselves. All right. Bye-bye now.